Not a matter of if, but when crisis will rock your world. I'm Roshini Rajkumar, crisis strategist, licensed attorney, and host of The Crisis Files. In each case file, we explore a hot topic or controversy, always looking for solutions and new insights. Hot flashes, hot topic. Oscar winner Halle Berry named to the 2024 Time 100 because of it. Naomi Watts wanting it to become the new puberty. Menopause. And today, Alix Kendall is here to share why she's so open about the topic on TV and everywhere. Alix is a founding co-host of Fox 9 Good Day and a veteran news anchor in the Twin Cities television market. She's here for the case file I call Menopause Matters. Alix, menopause is everywhere these days, but a big challenge. There's so much mystery about it, especially for women.
That is true. And I think the more that we talk about it, there will be less mystery. And we're already seeing that. We've seen some big time, Hollywood actors and actresses discussing, their menopause journey. And I think that people are a lot more open to discussing it. And it's maybe a little less cringeworthy, even in a newsroom, when I would say 5-10 years ago, bringing up the menopause and specifically men tend to, look down or look away or leave the room. You're like, yeah. But now really it's more of an accepted topic.
I was having this conversation recently at a funeral, at the lunch after the funeral, and this topic was some attorneys from the firm where I was a summer associate during law school. And they were asking me, what are some of the topics you cover on the Crisis Files? And I said, we're going to be talking about menopause. And we got into it, and I said perimenopause. And one of the guys said, yeah, perimenopause was a bitch, meaning because of his wife. And I thought, oh, great, no sensitivity there. But men are a part of this journey too, or the partners of people going through menopause.
They absolutely are. It affects them. If you're in a relationship, in a heterosexual relationship, you don't maybe understand, a man wouldn't understand what's going on in a woman's body and also in her mind. The most difficult thing I found with some of the symptoms of menopause was the brain fog. To me, that was more of an issue. I didn't have a lot of hot flashes. I had some, I called them warm moments before I started taking an herbal supplement. But I found that I was having sometimes a hard time remembering something as simple as the table, specific nouns.
What's the word?
What's the word? And I would struggle for a word that clearly I knew. But there was a time where I thought, am I going crazy? What's going on? And it wasn't until I really understood the brain fog, and truly that came out of a conversation with a neighbor of mine. We sat outside, we told her that I thought I was going through menopause, or at least perimenopause at that point. And she said to me, look, this is natural, what's going on. And the best thing that I heard about the whole journey of menopause was that the brain fog will go away and your brain will come back. But there's a period of time that you're a little bit foggy, and it was just hopeful to hear that from her.
Yeah, and crazy that was from your neighbor, not a doctor. So let's give people just some of the definitions. The World Health Organization has some facts for us. Menopause is one stage in a continuum of life stages. Most women experience menopause between ages 45 and 55. It's caused by a loss of ovarian follicular function. And then there's perimenopause that Alix mentioned, which is the period from when signs first appear to 1 year after a woman's final menstrual cycle, which could be a long, long time. I have people that are now in their 50s say to me, I've been going through perimenopause since my 40s. I mean, that doesn't sound fun. Issues include brain fog, hot flashes, night sweats, weight gain, skin problems, lack of sex drive. We're going to get into that in a sec. But these are all, why is it that we don't know? Like, it becomes a surprise. I might be in perimenopause. I'm not even sure. But it comes as a surprise to pretty much all women.
It's probably a conversation that before the age of 40 that you should start talking to your gynecologist about. And that makes sense. And then they can help prepare you a little bit. And I think a lot of women now have, gynecologist that is a female. It's a more comfortable subject. But the whole having to wait for a year after you've stopped having your periods, for some women who've never had regular periods, that's a little confusing. They're like, well, when was your last one? I'm like, what season are we in? But it became a much more comfortable subject for me to talk about with my doctor. being out there in the world and talking about it with my friends as we were all kind of we're all baby boomers, or at least this very close-knit group of friends of mine, it was a subject that we talked about a lot, and we felt comfortable because, we were all asking like, well, do you have this problem? Do you have brain fog? And my friends would talk about their hot flashes, and just it is good to talk to other people about it. And
it takes
honestly,
the stigma away.
It absolutely does. We live in a youth-obsessed culture, but we're turning the corner a little bit and understanding that we have this behemoth group of baby boomers who are coming of age and some who are well past that. And for that reason, we're talking about it more. And I think that that's so important that we do that.
You're talking about it on TV. Halle Berry is talking about it on stages all over the place, including on her Instagram platform, and her wellness platform called Respin now focuses on this topic. She shifted it from other subjects to focus on menopause awareness, and she lobbies Congress. In fact, this is why she was named to the 2024 Time 100 list. So that is anything but a stigma. I mean, she's totally out of the closet on the whole menopause, really bringing it front and center stage. What are some of your pieces of advice for listeners out there, as well as people who love them? So not just the people who are going through peri or will go through peri and menopause, but the community. What's some advice for either questions to ask or just more grace and empathy to give?
For me, I'll be honest, I dreaded the idea of going through menopause. There was a long stretch of time when I knew it was coming. And for women, it's going to happen. And so the acceptance of knowing that I would get through it. And I think the dread is all of some of the markers that we talked about already today, but also kind of your sexuality and how that may change. And as long as you have a partner who has patience and you understand how to kind of maneuver through that, there will be an ending and things will get better. And that to me is important to pass along. Some women experience more headaches and some have more hot flashes. Those can be horrendous, and that they are difficult when you're in a work environment. You're just at a restaurant for no reason. You all of a sudden get this flood of sweats, or whether it's at night. And that needs some more study. Halle Berry is doing a great job and going to Congress, and we need more studies of women in menopause. And I think we're just starting to chip away. I wish we wouldn't be, we'd be farther along. That's a key, is women need to be involved in more of the studies, and they need to be a factor, because up until now, a very small percentage of women have actually been studied on menopause when you think about it.
That is crazy. They say the only two things in life that are certain are death and taxes. But if you're a woman, it's death, taxes, and menopause. By 2030, an estimated 1.2 billion women worldwide will be menopausal or postmenopausal. That is a huge number. Let's talk about the topic that doesn't always come out of the bedroom, which is the bedroom and sex. And it's very true that sex drive slows down or even stops during this stage of life. What can you share with us about that?
Just knowing that that is going to happen, that your sexuality is going to change, that you're not the 20-year-old who thought about sex every minute of the day.
Who wants to be screwing all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Let's just be real.
It's true. It's true. It will change. It's different for everybody. For some women, it might be sexual aids, which men have been doing for years. Having a good lubricant is important.
Alix Kendall, in all the years I've known you, not a line I ever thought you would say to me, let alone on my show. So thank you, because we need to break through, and people like you with platforms sharing. So, all right, another line I never thought I'd say, let's talk lubricant. So there's natural, you see the ads, you see the things on social media.
You don't come across them as much. So I think there's a real lack of information about them, and you can go online, of course. And then sometimes you might be hit with a barrage of things you don't want to see, right?
Yes.
You can try to go to your local pharmacy, and you could start there. I don't think you may get a lot of help from pharmacy workers. I think they're probably going to run the other direction.
Especially if they're 25 years old.
I think going to some kind of a store that deals with sexuality is probably a good idea. They can probably be helpful. There's a lot of products out there now that have fewer chemicals and that I think work better. And I think it just depends on your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really good advice. Thanks for getting us through that. And then we have, partners, whether it's a committed partner or maybe you're dating. I mean, that could almost be more strange. You're not in a committed relationship, but you might want to be. You're dating. This kind of stuff happens. We don't want women in perimenopause or menopause to stop having sex or stop dating.
No, we don't. And I have dated post-menopause. And I'm in a relationship that we've been together now for a number of years, but I went through a period of time where I was not with someone. And generally, I was dating people who were somewhere younger than I was. And things get interesting. I'll just leave it at that. But it's just as you get used to dealing with menopause, you then might change how you deal with your sexuality with somebody new. Maybe you won't be as quick to jump into bed with somebody if you are, postmenopausal or perimenopausal. And maybe you want to take more time to get to know that person from that perspective.
But here again, honesty with yourself, communication with others, important.
Absolutely it is. I would say it's good if you know that person well enough to have the conversation perhaps first out of the bedroom. And maybe, I'm not saying over morning coffee, but
definitely not in the bedroom.
I think it is better if you could have those conversations out of the bedroom to start with about maybe why you're feeling, crabby or, maybe
Less
your body
interested.
isn't responding the way that it used to. And it'll probably start with maybe, the sweats, which women dread. And it makes sense that would then lead to those conversations. But let's face it, I mean, the more men learn about menopause, men who are in relationships with women, the better the sex is going to be because they will understand their partner.
Very true. Good sage advice from Alix. Let's go back to doctors for a moment. So you recommend let's, at least by the age of 40, women start talking to your doctors about this. What are some questions, no matter the age, that a woman who's thinking about, well, what is perimenopause? What is menopause? What can we do to help our doctors help us?
I think you start out the gate with just saying, I need to know more about what's going to happen with my body. Where's a good place to go for information? And your doctor will probably have some of those questions ready to answer when you're there, but have them before you have your next appointment. If you think you're maybe experiencing perimenopause, if you're going through that, chances are you will touch on topics like hot flashes. And for some women, migraines. I've had migraines my whole life. Mine have tapered off. Women are different from what I understand about migraines. And of course, I'm not a doctor. Mine became less intense, but for some women, for a period of time, they can get worse. So if you're a migraine sufferer, that is a question to ask your doctor to be prepared for it.
What about meds? Are there meds that help with some of these symptoms, or is it really more estrogen, progesterone, all those kinds of things that your doctor will walk you through?
I think your doctor will probably suggest that, or if you are curious about, for instance, taking estrogen, progesterone, which you have to take together, and I do. I know that some women are not comfortable with taking hormones, but I've talked that over with my doctor, and to me, it made sense. I believe for me, it also helps in just kind of keeping me sharp and alert. And that, I believe, has probably been in many studies that we've read about.
Right. And the thing is, I mean, you continue to work, you support yourself. I mean, these kinds of things. So you need your brain, you need your body and brain to be in alignment. And it's so important to ask the questions so that we as individuals can still continue to live thriving lives.
Right. And it's not for everybody. And we know that many years ago, and there have been studies that have linked being on some kind of progesterone, estrogen, and there maybe being a link to breast cancer. So that's something you really want to talk to your doctor about as far as, if you have that in your family history. But if you think that you could be helped by it, then perhaps that's for you. I believe that it's probably more accepted now. And I believe in Europe, it's more common for women to be on some kind of hormone replacement therapy, but it may work for you, it may not. I also think it also helps with your skin.
Well, that's a bonus because those are very real issues. So, I think it's just worth reminding if you're out there, you're feeling off. And before you think something's actually going wrong with your brain, really get the answers. Talk to your doctor, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends in a similar age bracket, and just keep talking. So I applaud you for making this such a public part of your platform now. And when you do have, the television outlet, your social media outlets, that you are very vibrant in sharing information. And we, of course, all crisis filers, are very happy you came on the Crisis Files to talk about this. So thank you, Alix, for exposing all layers with us. Find more Alix Kendall on Instagram at TVAlix, that's with an I, TV Alix Kendall. Today's Crisis Brief is brought to you by Asset HR. Number 1, communication matters. Ask your doctors. Don't be shy to share real symptoms and solutions. Number 2, you're not alone. By 2030, an estimated 1.2 billion women worldwide will be menopausal or postmenopausal. Number 3, don't be shy to share your age. Honesty with this topic could help your menopause journey. Asset HR's unwavering commitment to exceptional service means they always maintain full dedication to existing clients. They believe in giving back by investing in the communities they serve, by fostering strong relationships and contributing to meaningful projects. Asset HR makes a lasting impact in the lives of the people they serve. Choose Asset HR and experience an HR partnership where relationships are paramount. Learn more at assethr.com. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram at The Crisis Files. Rate, review, and subscribe to The Crisis Files on your platform of choice. Check out our website, thecrisisfiles.com, to catch up on all case files in one easy spot. I'm Roshini Rajkumar. Join me next time on The Crisis Files.